Yo, 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 yo. What is going on, everybody? This is the BeBall Jones podcast, your number one and favorite and go-to basketball podcast, the BeBall Jones podcast, with the man, defensive player of the year himself, Nelson Haskin, man. What's going on?
Not much, man. I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm good, man. Still trying to figure this entrepreneurship thing out and grow and elevate myself, man. How's everything going with you with basketball and everything, man?
Basketball is good. Just, doing the best I can. Been playing well. Trying to myself to that next level. You know what I'm saying? Just work hard every day and trying to make sure I'm good enough and prepared enough to make it to where I want to be.
Let's see. So with that, where you want to be, man? Like, what is the end goal for you? Like, where do you see your next level being?
Oh, the next level is becoming a pro. Of course, I want to be a pro, wherever that may be. I'm most likely going to go play overseas somewhere. Just throw a couple places out there. Like it'd be real cool if I go play somewhere like Italy or like Germany, things like that. That's really the goal right now. That's the next level is to get that overseas or pro contract.
I got a question for you, man. If, of course, as growing up, we all dreamed of going to the NBA, right? So, would you feel like you failed in your career if you don't make it to the NBA? Like, of course, you're going to go overseas and over pro. Like, being very realistic, that's for right now the route that it looks like you're going. But you can finesse it to where do go get a tryout, or you do go to the summer league or whatever, and you get a chance to go to the NBA. So, would you feel like if you never got that chance to go to the NBA, that's a failure?
No, I wouldn't say that. I'd be very happy if I played. My thing has always been I want to be a pro for at least 10 years. That's been my like reaching for the stars. I want to play professionally for at least 10 years. Like not retiring until I'm like 33, 34. I done got my prime years out the way pretty much. And I gave the game everything I had to do. If I go longer than that, that's cool, great, great. But I see how my body feels, and what's going on in my life at that time. But my thing's
You
always been be a pro for 10 years. I had a great career. Like can't nobody tell me nothing. I mean, really can't nobody tell me nothing if I'm a pro, no way. But pro for 10 plus years, you a real pro. Like that means you handled your business, took care of yourself. You played the game the right way. And so that's all. That's been my thing. So whether that means I went to the NBA or if I played 10 years in one overseas country, or if I played 10 years in multiple countries, whatever, I'm good with that. As long as I did what I got everything out of my talent, and I, made my money, took care of my family, and what have you. That's all that matters to me.
like that, man. 'Cause I feel like sometimes we don't give players the balanced view of what success is. You know what I mean? So it's like sometimes we only hold them to a certain standard or have certain expectations of what success and failure is or what it looks like for everybody across the board. You know what I mean? So like let's think about how the early 2000s, right? After Jordan retired, everybody's looking for the next Jordan. And it was so many players that were set up for failure by comparing them to Jordan. When actuality, they were a good NBA player. They would have had a great career. And some of them, like Vince Carter, he went on to have a good career. You feel me? But because he was compared to be the next Jordan, he fell short. He failed. You know what I mean? Like, of course, he ended up falling short, failed because he never won a ring or nothing like that. But I'm pretty sure he right now is content. I mean, he had a great career. He played 20 some years and did all he could. You feel me? So I just feel like we have to be more nuanced or more educated when we talk about success and failure for players. Because like you said, you want to have a 10-year career and be able to say you've done that. You know what I mean? Like, yo, I played in Italy and Germany or Australia, wherever, and I did that. I was getting paid to do what I love. You feel me? And I feel like we need to have more um what's a simpler word I can say? But just more intelligent discussions around what success is for each player. Because once again, what success is for you might not be for your teammate. You know what I mean? So I feel like let's talk about that, man. What can you define, or how can we get smarter about what success is for a player?
Well, I have the perfect answer for this. So, uh, success is relative. Like what's successful to someone might not be successful to another. Just like what might be a lot of money to somebody might not be a lot of money to another person. Like to some people, $1 billion, like money, that's a lot of money. But if I gave $100 to a homeless man, that's a lot of money to him. So success is different to everybody. Talking about basketball or sports in general, but mainly basketball. Three things determine success for a player. People love and Steven Jackson said it best. Some people love the game, love what it does for them. With that being said, three things is what you can get out of playing the game. You can get money, of course. Everybody loves money. So some people's success might be how much money they can make, how much money they can get out of their career before it's over with. So, whether that be millions, billions, maybe, you can get some money. You got individual success, such as like MVPs and endorsements, a little individual awards, things like that. Maybe championships, finals MVPs, whatever in terms of the NBA, things like that. Individual success. What I do as a player. Maybe I'm an all-star a bunch of years, Hall of Fame. Some people just want to be as good as they possibly can be. And then third is team success. Somewhere where we can win. I want to win. Winning is the only thing that defines them to a lot of guys. Those are the three things that determine success when it comes to athletes. In my mind. So and everybody's different. Some guys really don't care about the individual awards. They want to play, they want to be good. That's all well and fine. But at the end of the day, they want to make their money. I might go to the team that pay me the most money. That's how I define my success. How much money I can get. And then some people that's like, nah, I gotta win. I gotta be on a team that's gonna win. Gotta surround me with talent. Gotta be on a team that fit me. Win games and things like that. And some people care about individual talent. How many points can I put up? Records I can break. Things like that. Their individual accolades. We'll define that as a success. That's why you see guys like Shaq out here talking to Charles Barkley crazy. Chuck, you don't know nothing about that because you don't got no rings.
I didn't have Dwayne Wade and Kobe Bryant carry me up and down the court.
So why you in the Hall of Fame? Because I got 3 Finals MVP, Chuck. Google me, Chuck.
Everybody knows you were a great player.
You see that?
Everybody knows you were a great player.
You don't know what you're talking about when it comes to
no,
you ain't got to repair nothing.
He defined his individual success based on he defined success for himself as what his individual success. How many championships he won, his rings, his finals MVP, things like that. That's how he defines his success. And then now that his basketball is over with, he's making money. That's how he defines success now. That's why he got all these endorsements and stuff. And then you got guys like Mike Jordan. He out here like he want the team success. He need everything that is owed to him. He want to win. He cuts out his teammates. Like, y'all got to get right because we not going to win if y'all don't. That's what you can tell Mike determine his success by what his team does. Like, he ain't trying to lose. Then you got guys that just want to make them some money. You can find them all over the league. You just point to some random team and be like, all right, he just wants some money. He come in here, go to practice. He can show up to practice 5 minutes before and leave when it's over, and he go do what he do. So that's pretty much it for me. That's how players define success in my mind. So what you think about it?
I really like that. Dang, that's actually perfect, bro. Like, I ain't got too much to say. Like, that's actually really perfect. I feel like that's what the biggest things, especially talking about pro players, that we all say what motivates them or what we define them as successful as. You know what I mean? Like, and I feel like all players can agree to that too. To where I get the situation, I'm looking for the biggest contract. Whoever can sign me for the most money. Like, I feel like each level of play will determine what their success is. A if I'm Rondo, am I looking to have the biggest legacy and the biggest impact as far as, do I want to go after John Stockton's assist record? Do I want to have um individual accolades of having triple doubles, whatever, or do I want to go with the team that can get me wins, or do I want to make the most money? From LeBron, that's a whole different conversation. If I'm a rookie coming in and I'm the 35th pick, you know what I mean? Like each level of player that you are changes the lens of how we view what we're going after. You feel me? So if I'm a journeyman, if I'm Udonis Haslam right now, right? Like you said, we either have players who play for the love or play for the love of what the games bring them. And I feel like he's at a position where, like, how old is it? Like 41, I think. Like he's playing
Yo,
because he loves the game. Like obviously, you know what I mean? He ain't making no crazy amount of money. Like he's obviously like vet minimum, probably making no more than 5 million a year, maybe. Like that's not a lot of money. Well, by NBA scale, it's not a lot of money. It's not nothing compared to the Steph Curry, Dames, and KDs and stuff. Like, he ain't making pennies to that. You feel me? But he's enjoying what he's doing now. He's playing for the love of the game. He loves being around the game and being able to do all this. You feel me? So I feel like we can't condemn Udonis Haslam for playing for the love of the game and for trying to have team success, but then condemn a Kevin Durant for wanting to have the exact same thing. Like he's trying to get rings. That his goal is to get rings, to get as good as he can to where he can win rings. How they go about it is the issue. Udonis Haslam was drafted by the Heat in 03. He's been there since he could breathe. That's his NBA career. He's been in Miami. KD's bounced around. This is his third team. He's getting crucified for it. But their goal, what they view as success, is the same thing. But one's getting killed, one's getting praised. You know what I mean? So we have to have more intelligent or more thoughtful conversations about what success is, what success is for players. And I feel like I don't know if we ever really get there. I really don't. Do you feel like we could get there someday? Like we have a legit, more intelligent conversation around what a player's success is?
Probably not, because like I said, it's different to everybody. And nowadays everybody, the Twitter fans and things like that, and like guys on TV, everything's defined by success. Success is defined by what a team does. Like success is defined by when you're winning, how you affect winning, what have you done? Like it's a what have you done for me lately business. But that's only to the biggest names, the all-stars of the league. Nobody looking at Mills saying Patty Mills not successful. Like, what has he accomplished? Nobody's saying that, because he's doing what he should be doing. He's a good player in the league. He plays his role. So nobody's looking at him like, man, what has Patty Mills done? Like, he's not accomplished anything. He's not done anything. But then on the other hand, people look at Damian Lillard and be like, Dame ain't had no kind of success. He don't have no rings or no MVPs or anything like that. But Dame a whole heck of a lot more successful than Patty Mills in the grand scheme of things. But it just levels to it. It's like, okay, you an all-star, you a superstar. You need to be doing something. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need to be on this level. Like, this is our expectations of you. If you a superstar or whatever, face your team, you need to be leading them to the finals or to conference finals. You need to be winning MVPs, something. You need to be a great player. But it ain't gonna be that. So success is different. It's differentiated through different players. Like, what we consider successful for LeBron is championship. Play period. No matter who on his team, what team he played for. From the first days in Cleveland, since the first time he made it to the finals, and then he went to Miami, and then they made it to the finals 4 years straight. That finals a bust for LeBron James. He ain't make it to the finals. This is a failure. Like, this is a failed season. Even if he in Cleveland and his second best player is Kevin Love and his third best player is Matthew Dellavedova. the finals, LeBron, or it's considered a failure. And then you better be close to winning unless you play in the Warriors, because then it's like, But anyway, now he at the Lakers, his first year at the Lakers, folks was picking the Lakers to go to the finals over the Warriors, over who was good at that time in 2019. They was picking them to go there over the Warriors. They was picking them to go there over the it was still the Rockets. Yeah, like they was like they did not care.
Didn't Kawhi there?
Kawhi wasn't there yet. That was the next year Kawhi went, because that was when the Raptors won the championship in 2019.
You're right.
So that was the thing. It's just like LeBron being there, like, is considered going to the finals. No other player has that success bar. No other player has that bar set for them. And so now, then the next year they get AD. Now it's like championship or bust, because now you got a championship caliber team. Then they do it. Cool, good. The next year, have some injuries and then, whatever. But people still thought LeBron was going to pull it out, because you remember they played the Suns in the first round. They thought LeBron was going to pull it out. AD hurt, Bron got a bad ankle. They like, oh, Bron on the floor, they going to win. Success is different for every player, so there'll never just be a singular bar for success for every NBA player. Because if it was, some NBA players would be up here. Some of them will be. So it's just hard. Like, it's just that expectations part of things.
I'm not trying to say we should have a point where it's like a standard all across the board. You're successful or failure if you're above this line or below this line. But like you said, like each player individually has one of those three things. Like I feel like all three players want all three things, but how they prioritize it and rank it is how they view success. So I remember Derrick Rose, when he was with the Bulls? Yeah, I think he was I don't know if the Bulls or Knicks. I'm pretty sure it's the Bulls. But the knee injury, he had the whole situation where he was disappearing for a minute. We didn't know what's happening, what's going on. And he was saying how the team or whatever saying he was healthy to come back and play. He was like, nah, he ain't ready yet. He's, doing his thing. And he finally came out and spoke, and he was like, I'm not feeling good to play right now. I want to do all I can to make sure I'm at 100%. Because by the time I'm retired and when I get older, I'm be able to pick up my son and play around with him. Like, I want to be able to move well, because I did everything I could while I was playing to make sure I was good long term. He played the long term game.
Right.
But of course, he wants to win. You feel me? But he has to juggle and balance that to where it's like, okay, do I sacrifice my body now to where long term I give up my body and I can't play with my son as I want to? Or do I prioritize my son first, but still do what I can to make sure the team has success and wins? Charles killed them. I think Shaq killed them. A lot of OG players killed them because they're like, players walking around with cricket fingers and stuff because the ball jammed and dislocated, sprained their fingers and all this stuff. Charles got bad hips and knees. Kenny, he can't walk straight. Shaq hand messed up. Like all the stuff that comes with the game of being banged and bruised up. And I forgot who they're talking about, but somebody else, like Larry Bird, has back issues. All the players have something wrong with them, you feel me? But they were kind of killing him because Derek said, I don't want to be as crippled as y'all are. I want to be able to enjoy my money, enjoy my family, and still ball and play. There's nothing wrong with that. You feel me? Like, that's what he says he wants to do. So now, back to success. He views success as being able to have a great career. I want to win a ring, of course, but long term, I want to be good with my family. I want to be able to play with my son. So can we crucify his career if he doesn't win now because of our expectations? You see what I'm saying? Like it's a real iffy thing that we kind of doing right now.
Yeah, it's tough. Like, because it was just like I said, it's the expectations that was put on him at the time. It's like he was the star of the Bulls and a young rising star because, he was the youngest MVP and things like that. So it was just unheard of at the time for like a superstar player to be cleared to play. Like, he good to play and not play. But I completely understood what he was saying. Like, You know, at the time, I was like hoping he'll play because I like Derrick Rose. You know, I was like, man, he tough. But at the time, I think that, but you know, on a personal note, I feel like you know they hit the Bulls, the Bulls organization did him dirty. Like, if he not gonna play, put out there that he cleared to play, putting all that extra pressure on him. You know what I'm saying? They make him look bad. They make him like he just don't want to play.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, just that thing of expectations. Like, we expect you to want to be good. Like, you're our best player. You're our star. We expect you to want to play and do all you can for us to win. And that's the thing. Like, outside of being that athlete, fan or any kind of analyst or just anybody on the outside looking in, you expect him as the star to do everything he can for them to win, for the team to be successful, right? Because you're a fan of that team or you're watching that team play. So you expect him to do everything he can for the team. Nobody looking at him saying, do all you can for yourself. You know, you good. Nobody really saying that. That's the only thing about it. And like you said, he sees success as like, okay, I want to make my money. I want to hoop. I ain't no doubt in my mind he loved basketball, because if he did, he wouldn't be playing right now through all the struggle he had.
Yep.
But the way he defines success is he want to hoop and still be able at the end of his career to enjoy his money and move well and enjoy his life. Not be out here, you know, not being able to walk straight and stuff like that. Not being able to pick up his son and play with him, or go to take his son to the park and play with him or anything like that. And I'm with him on that. If that's how you define success, well, that's great. Good for him. But on the outside looking in, people want him to do what's best for the team and not what's best for him, because they hoping for the team's success or whatever. And they don't, and like, we as fans or anything, or people just like watching the game, like I said, we put our own views of success on the player. We want them to do this to be successful. If you don't do this, you're not successful.
Yep.
So him saying, I don't think I'm good to play, that was hindering his success in our mind. I'm like, oh man, what you mean you ain't trying to play? You an MVP, man. You the star. We need you out there, things like that. Like, we that in our minds hindering his success, but in his mind, he doing what's best for him. So it's just like, you know, it's all personal at the end of the day. Like, we all have our own definitions of success. Like, and you can't really change that for no one person or player. It's all individual at the end of the day.
You know, I just thought about this, man. Like, I'm not trying to make this all about Derrick Rose, but like, I think sometimes coming into the league, how you view success will change throughout your career. Because of course, going in, I want to win the ring. I want to do all this good. Like, you know, that's what every player wants. You want to win the ring. You want to be successful. You want to pass Jordan to win 6 rings. You want to be like Bill Russell, have 11 of them things. But as your career develops and goes on, I feel like that'll change. So as a rookie, if you interview somebody as a rookie, yeah, I plan to do this, that, and the third with my career, whatever. Interview them year 5. I would love to do this, but this is what I want to do now. Because you see, like, you start seeing the path, you start seeing it right on the wall, like, I might not get these rings. I ain't looking too good. If he gets blessed enough to have year 10, it's like, yo, right now I just want to keep playing. You know, I just want to stay in the league and do this in the third. And like, of course, Derrick Rose coming in, ambitious. I want to win MVP. I want to do this, that, and the third, whatever. But as the injuries piled up, he is like, yo, this ain't what it's cracking up to be. Like, as somebody who's dealt with injuries and with my knee problems, I think that's probably the most underrated aspect of the game, or one of the most underrated aspects of how injuries affect you, not just physically, but mentally, because your body's literally everything for the game. Like, your body is like the number one thing as an athlete. And if you're not, if mentally you don't feel like your body's okay, that's throwing off everything. Like, you know, you rolled your ankle, you feeling yourself a little bit like, I don't know if I can plant right now because my ankle a little messed up. I don't know if I can cut like I want to. I don't know if I can jump or land if I need to. So now your whole game is tweaked, even if by percentage points, because of one little thing. So imagine how he felt dealing with major knee injuries. I'm just talking about like a sprained knee or whatever, major knee injuries that knocked him down back to back to back. So I'm going from the most athletic, explosive athlete, probably, or basketball player of all time, to 2 or 3 knee injuries. I don't remember what it was at the time, but multiple knee injuries, multiple knee surgeries within the span of like 2 or 3 years. His perspective on life in the game has completely changed now. And so now how he views success is completely different from how he was as a rookie. I don't know. I think he had kids as a rookie. I don't know if he had a girlfriend or whatever. But as a man, he came into the league at 18, 19. Now he's 23, 24, 25. Of course, he should change. He should change of things in life because you're a kid or a young man to a little bit older young man. So it's like his perspective and view on life should change at that point. And so I'm pretty sure he's like, yo, these championships and stuff, I still want that, but like, I just want the heat. I just want helping these. That's really all I care about right now. Because when you get beat up so much with injuries, it affects you mentally to where it's like, yo, I can't even get out the bed without pain. I can't go down the steps without pain. I can't get in and out of my car without pain. Like your day-to-day living is so different to where now it affects you on the court and it changes how you do that stuff. So I feel like that played a role in all of that. And so now getting back to kind of get back on topic now, it's like, think about all the players who've had some type of life-changing thing to where they had money, they had a contract on the table, and they lost it. Oh, snap. I'm trying to do what I can to secure the money, to secure the bag now. Or like Dennis Schroeder. He had a big deal on the table. He lost it. The Celtics only offer him X amount of money. He's like, oh, everybody trying to call him a bum. He lost all his money because he didn't get this deal. Maybe he didn't want that big deal. Well, maybe he's actually content with the money he has now because, once again, his success is championship. I feel like this team can win me championship. I want to play whatever it is. Like I said, individually, it could be I just want to be a starter. I want to be the man. I don't want to be a bench player. Make my money, start, get my stats, and I'm good. But he's a failure now because he can make all the money he can, or he's a failure because he don't play for the Lakers and he's not a championship contender. Maybe he's good. And I feel like you said before, we can't put our expectations on players because that's almost. I mean, I get it. Like I completely understand. I'm not trying to say we should baby everybody and be like, nobody
do
has.
this you can.
Yeah, like everybody gets a gold star. I hate that junk, but at the same time, like I said, be more nuanced and have a little bit more intelligent conversations when we're talking about this because it's not one thing across the board. We can't hold everybody to the Jordan standard. That's illogical. So if KD doesn't get 6 rings, he's automatically eliminated from the GOAT conversation. Like, you know what I mean? It's just that standard across the board doesn't make sense. And so I feel like we have to do a better job of defining success. First off, I remember Stephen A saying this. He judges players off of what they say. So if they say they want to do this, okay, when I report, I'm talking about that. You said this, so I'm holding you to that standard. And I think we have to do that combined with our view of what their potential could be. And I feel like that's, for me personally, where we can go with the success talk for each player. So do you feel like that's a great standard to go towards, or that's more of a, like, do you see a flaw in that?
I mean, my thing is just we gotta get the most out of your potential, your talent. I feel like there might be like that might be more of a biased viewpoint, but I feel like if you got all you could out of your talent, so that's why we look at guys like KD, LeBron, Steph. We look at them different because we see them. We like, okay, you're clearly better than a lot of your peers, or you're on a higher level than the average player in the league. So, in my opinion, I feel like we want to get, if you got the most out of that talent, despite what money you make, you're gonna make money, despite how much team success you have, whatever. You got all you could out of your talent, you were successful. So that's why we say, I'll give you an example. Like we look at Melo, and people act like Melo's a failure because he don't have no rings and nothing like that. And then, we look back and be like, he chose to play for the Knicks and make more money over playing with the Heat when they was doing their thing with Bron and D-Wade and Bosh. He missed out on his ring. Some people look at him as a failure. But in reality, it's like, Melo ain't stopped being good. He ain't stopped being Melo at the end of the day. Yeah, he don't have no rings or nothing like that, but nobody doubts how good he was or how good he is. I think if you got all you all you could out of your potential, you were successful in my mind. And I feel like that's how we should view it from now on. And I feel like we should put more expectations on teams, individual players. Like how we say, has no help. Yeah, we can say that when Bron shows up, because Bron shows up most of the time. But LeBron is the only player we ever get that luxury to. He ain't got no help. Nobody ever says, man, KD ain't got no help. Man, Steph ain't got no help. People very rarely say that. First time I ever heard people saying that was like last year when Steph really ain't had no help when Clay was hurt and Draymond was there, but Draymond giving them 11 and 8 assists. And it's like, man, we need somebody to get a bucket. You know what I'm saying? Folks were saying that about Steph last year. Folks were like, man, Steph ought to be MVP and this, that, and the third, but he ain't got no help. And then, I was saying that about my guy Giannis. Like, man, if Chris Middleton show up, they're going to win the game. But if he don't, they're going to lose because Giannis there every day. But nobody was giving him that luxury in the media and stuff like that. Nobody was out here saying Chris Middleton. Well, some folks. I ain't going to say that. Some folks was saying Chris Middleton isn't helping them. But if the Bulls would have lost the Nets or in the finals to the Suns, it was going to be on Giannis. That's just how it goes. So if we shift our perspective more to success individuals, I feel like it'll be a more fair playing field because it's like, with like I said, success as a player, I feel like it's defined by your potential and how much you got out of that. And then but your team success, that can only be defined like by what y'all actually did. That's the only thing we can look at and be like, all right, what actually happened? If your team was successful, then we'll have something we can point at, be like, all right, yeah, he did this or they did this. Because like what Bron did in the 2016 finals, leading every statistical category, he was successful. Excuse me. He was successful. At the end of his success, we can look at him and be like, okay, he really was that guy. Sorry, I need to. But yeah.
So I get what you're saying. So like, okay, let me ask you this. Let's go to KD, right? He has like 4 scoring titles. He's won 2 rings, 2 Finals MVPs, right? So with him being lumped in that conversation, it's arguably the greatest scorer of all time. Like it's him, Kobe, Jordan. People throw Kareem in there. Like arguably the greatest scorer of all time, right? So with him having the title of the greatest scorer of all time, if he retired right now, we've had a conversation off air, off recording about him, quote unquote, being a failure because, like you said, all the talent that he has and not a failure, but not living fully up to expectations, right? So for somebody like him, Kyrie, probably the most skilled player of all time. James Harden, probably he's in the conversation too, one of the greatest scorers of all time. If each of those guys retired right now, can we say that they've quote unquote failed, right? Because you look at KD, like I said, the 4 scoring titles, 2 rings, 2 Finals MVPs. He won an MVP, and he's had some really great teams, really great runs, all that stuff. James Harden won an MVP, had 2 of the craziest years, or really one of the craziest seasons we've had in a long time with that scoring team. He had averaging about 40 for like maybe 2/3 of the season, something like that. Kyrie, like he's a highlight package waiting to bust out once he touches the ball. You feel me? So he has 2 rings. He has 1 ring. I'm tripping. So, like, can we say that they have failed, quote unquote, with their career?
So I say no for KD because similar to what I said to Melo, we saw the best of KD. We know what he can do. There's like no, we all have respect for KD. Like what he did now, the Warriors failed. Like we don't really have a whole lot of respect for those rings and things like that. But we know what he could do. He played his role. It'd be different if he went to the Warriors and he was like a role player or like just a good player on their team. But he was still the star. Like you could tell this is like he was the guy. And so I feel like we could say KD was not successful because like even like you said, even now we look at him like one of the best scorers of all time. With Kyrie and James, it get tough there because James got MVP, one MVP.
Still had two, but your boy took the other one. So
yeah, he took it. yeah, James got an MVP, but it's hard. And all the good teams he had, ain't never been to the finals. Ain't never could never beat the Warriors. Things of that nature. And that's like, obviously the Warriors are formidable opponents, but like there was years we thought they could do it. And then James has had capable teammates like Chris Paul, Clint Capella, Russell Westbrook, Dwight Howard. Like he had some capable teammates on his team. So in my opinion, yeah, we could say he didn't get all he could out of his success. I mean, out of his potential. And then there's some years we can point to where we say James didn't show up in the playoffs. And then Kyrie, I'll say for Kyrie too, because Kyrie had the Cleveland years. First year with LeBron, he got hurt in the playoffs, and then the second year they won championship. And then after that, and then after that third year they lost to KD and the Warriors. Then he left, and then he went to the Celtics. And we thought they would be good. Him, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, thought that was going to be a big core for them. Then, that fell apart. And then he goes to Brooklyn. And now he out here, like, picking days off, saying he needs time away from the game, things like that. All well and good, take care of yourself. But, then he don't want to get vaccinated. Now he's not playing regularly. So I'd have to say we probably will have to call Kyrie a failure in terms of his potential because he didn't get all he could out of his game. Like you said, he'll walk a highlight reel. Everybody know how good he is. Like just a couple of days ago, he played the first game he didn't play in months and had 22. Everybody can't just do that. Like he got so much talent and potential. Still in his 20s, I think. I think Kyrie like 28, 29, something like that.
Yeah, he late 20s.
So he got years left to play, but he's not getting all he can out of his potential. So, like you said, if they retire today, I think we have to call them two, quote unquote. I hate to use the word failures because like they accomplished a lot, but like but in terms of what we talking about, they just did not get all they could out of their potential. So we have to call them quote unquote failures. But KD, he done found his success. Like, no disrespect on KD name. Like, we know what he can do. That's a bad man. Like, it's just one of those things, though. Like, KD got all he could out of his talent. He played when he could play. He gave it his all. And at the end of the day, he proved what he could do. And that's not to say Kyrie and James didn't prove what they could do because they did, but they just did not prove it year in and year out like KD has and other players have.
So, if James came out and said that, all right, I'm retiring today, guys. I can't do this no more, and I can retire feeling good about myself. Right? I feel like I gave all to the game. I feel like I maximized what I could do every year. I went in and trained, ate right, all that stuff. Right? Can we still say that he quote unquote failed? Because like we said before, you can look at individual. He has 2 scoring titles, MVP, signature move that, he left his thumbprint in the game with that. So now can we sit back and say that he's a failure because he didn't get a ring? Even if it was his fault, or we can point to him mainly as a big reason why the Rockets couldn't get over the hump a year or two, right? Can we really sit here and comfortably say that he quote unquote failed? Because let's say he did win a ring, right? One of those years, but he still fell short 2 other years. Would that be a failure? You know what I mean? Because it's so touchy because it's like literally like I'm that close to getting there, and I have more failures than this one success. And so now you're gonna hold me more to these failures than these success. So it's like now I'm completely a failure. You know what I mean? So how would you handle from that perspective?
So that's the thing. Like, it's just about getting the most out of your potential. So, like you said, let's say he did win a ring, but he lost those other years. the thing about James that I mainly point at to be a failure, to be considered a failure, is because there is years we can point to where we can say James did not show up, like when they most needed him, playoff time, things like that. There was times where James got the record for most turnovers in the playoff game and things like that. You remember those years? Like, there was times we could point to, be like, he didn't do what he had to do. You know what I'm saying? And then, but if he did, like I said before, James ain't never even been to the finals. Never been to the finals. So that's why I say, like, let me say this too. He didn't go to the finals, and he was on a finals caliber team. Let me say that. And so that's why I could say, like, okay, he didn't have true success, or like he failed in my eyes. Now in James Harden's mind, like, you remember a while ago, like this past summer, Russell Westbrook said, winner in life, I'm not a failure. I did this and this and this. I made it out of my neighborhood, things like that. I'm a winner in life.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is true for every one of those players in the league. True for all of them. Made it out of their situations, made life better for themselves and for their family. That's all well and good. It's great. But at the end of the day, like I said, in my mind, success is considered. Like, I consider success. I can't talk. I consider success getting the most out of your potential and out of your talent. And speaking on James Harden, I feel like right now he has not done it. If he had won a ring in one of those years, they had the ability to do so, and he was one of the main reasons, then yeah, he'd be good. Even if he failed in other years, because like we got Ron, who got 4 rings and lost 6 times in the finals. He got 4 championships and 6 finals losses. But we don't consider him a failure, like, because we know he got the maximum out of his talent and potential. Like, there's really no more he could have done.
But some people still hold him short because Jordan's the standard for him, or Kobe's the standard for him.
I don't think that's fair to LeBron to like hold him to a standard of what another person did. And like, I know a lot of people, like, you know, obviously LeBron wants to be considered better than Jordan. Like, but I feel like in my mind, you can't keep looking at him and saying like, you did this, but he did that. That's not fair to him at all. So that's like comparing this podcast to a different podcast, like the All the Smoke podcast with Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes. That's like comparing us to them just because we both have 2 guys talking about basketball. It's like, that's not fair to be like, oh, we're not good because y'all don't have many viewers as them. Like, we're not them. We're not trying to be them. But our own thing. So that's just kind of how I feel about it. Like, we constantly comparing what LeBron does to him, but LeBron is his own version of success. Like, we'll probably never see nobody win 6 rings and go 6-0 in the finals again. Like, basketball too good all across the board to be doing that now. Like, that's not taken away from Mike, but at the time Mike did that, the league was like, for lack of a better word, watered down. Like, there was only a couple good teams. Like, only a couple teams you really had to worry about. Like, it was tough and it was physical, but in terms of talent, nobody else had the talent that he had around him, along with himself. So I'll never see that again, unless the Warriors, they Steph and KD and them would have stayed together for a little while longer. But even they lost that third go around because everybody broke down and got hurt. It's one of those things. Like, we could say Shaq and Kobe could have probably did it, but ain't no telling. Like, after that third one, that 4th year, they did not get it done. Like, the league is more balanced. Like, talent is more distributed amongst multiple teams now. Like, true, just last year, playoffs, there was 4 stars in the conference finals. Out of the 4 teams in the conference finals in the East and West, there were 4 stars that was going to get their first ring. Out of all 4 teams. So, the 4 teams that was there, somebody that had never been to the finals before. What happened when Mike was playing? Like, Mike, every year, The third year, you retired or whatever. And then Hakeem Olajuwon won the next 2 years. Mike was not in the league. And then it was Mike again. So that just lets you know, like, for 8 years, 2 people won finals MVP. Think about that.
Yeah.
When is that ever going to happen again? 8 years, 2 people won finals MVP. One of those things, like, I don't think people think about it. But I'm sorry, that's to getting away from the topic. But we can't keep what I was trying to say is we can't keep comparing what does to what somebody did before them. This is not gonna be the same across the board. He's not gonna do everything that he did. LeBron not gonna do everything that Kobe did. Kobe ain't gonna do everything that Mike did. Clearly. And Kobe the closest thing to Mike, really. Kobe ain't getting it done like that. Why were you looking at Bron like, oh, you supposed to do that? Like, no, it's not going down like that. Just being real.
I feel like I'm not trying to.
That doesn't mean he's not a success. That doesn't mean he's not successful still in his own way. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm not trying to sit here and be like every player should get a pass because it's like it's basketball is a team sport, so you can't sit here and expect every player to win the ring because there's so many factors that go into a team. You know what I mean? We had this conversation before on a podcast where it's like, yeah, we did with loyalty, right? With Dame and Brad Bills. Like, to a certain extent, you have some control over your career, right? And let's say the Warriors when the Raptors won, or when the Raptors beat them. We all know good and well the Raptors would have got smacked if they had a healthy Warriors. We all know, right?
Right.
But I can't control the fact that KD got hurt and then Clay got hurt. If they had one of them, we know the Warriors would have won that mug. Like, that's just how the game goes. Last year, if the Nets were healthy, they would have got the Bucks. If the Suns went against one of them healthy teams, the Suns might not have made it. You know what I mean? Like, if any of them teams were healthy, the Suns had a good chance of not making it. But now we're going to call Chris Paul's career short or a failure because he didn't make it to that one finals. When in actuality, was that really a finals team? This year, they're proving it. They've proved it so far that they've went around and smacked everybody. They still got a winning streak. Like, but we can't sit here and define every single player's career success or failure based off of the team success. You know what I mean? Because it's so fickle. It's so many minute things that have to go right or wrong for team to win. But I like the point that you said that if they have a championship caliber team, that changed the conversation. So if James Harden never had a team, we felt like that team could have made it to the finals. That team right there should have been that team that got him over the hump. So that we can look at the 04 Lakers. Were they a little bit more gassed up? Yeah. But still had Kobe and Shaq.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, GP was old and Karl Malone wasn't really the mailman, but you still got Kobe and Shaq. That's all. You still got the main core. You have enough role players to where that was a championship caliber team. You can look at the Warriors right now, for instance, right? They still have Curry. They still have Draymond. Clay's not there. We're not expecting him to win a championship. So Steph Curry, whatever he does this year, free willy, go crazy, go nuts, do what you do. But the fact that the Warriors are playing so well, that changed our perspective and expectation in them. So now if they fall short, we're going to say, hey, what were you doing, bro? Why didn't you win this year? Or why didn't you do better this year? You know what I mean? So like now the conversation is changing because the team is a little bit more, having more success than what we were expecting, or some of us were expecting. And so it's like the dynamics of team versus individual success is a very fickle thing. So that's why I said with KD, him winning the scoring titles and having all the records, individual records that he has, you can't hold his career in a different light because if he never won a ring, that's different. You know what I mean? Because the Thunder team, he had 2 or 3 teams that were championship caliber. The team in 12 that went to the championship, and they didn't get rid of James Harden. There's no telling what they would have had. And so I feel like the conversation goes individual success, championship caliber team, then did you actually get it done and win? Or did you at least get to the finals? And I feel like by that scale, we can have a more intelligent conversation with each player. Because you look at Reggie Miller, no rings, 1 finals appearance with maybe 3 teams that had a chance to get to the championship, and when they actually did. And so it's like Kyrie, he had 2 teams. Let's exclude this year's Nets. He's had 2 or 3 teams that had a legit chance to get to the finals, which was those Cleveland teams. The Celtics teams, they weren't that good. Let's be honest. I'm a Celtics fan. I heard me say that they weren't championship caliber team. They weren't.
Right.
The years in Cleveland were only for real for a chance. Let's exclude the Nets this year. So let's say the year they actually won. Okay, cool. He was hurt the rest of the time. So what more can we? You know what I mean? So that changes the conversation just a little bit. But I feel like we can't hold every team to the same standard of championship or bust. Like you said with Melo, like he's not name a championship caliber team that he's been on.
That's what I say. Like we still respect them though.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Each team it changed. I mean, each player it changes because of the team. And so it's like Dame, you know, like I can't fault him for wanting to stay. I respect that. But at the same time, he's limiting the conversations that we put him in. He's not going to have a seat at certain tables because his team success is so limited. And I love him. That's my boy. That's my favorite player. You know, Westbrook too. But the conversations that we could have them in would be totally different. Like imagine Dame in the finals. That'll be stupid. Like the highlights he would give us would be legendary, bro. Imagine him hitting that step back or side step over Paul George in the finals. Man, crazy.
We'll go down to history.
Exactly. Like that'll be up there with that Kyrie shot from the finals. Like that's how crazy that shot would have been. So it's like, but like he's literally holding himself back, or we're holding him back from that because that was just in the playoffs. It wasn't the finals. And so like the nuances of from player to player changes. So I like what you said where it goes like individual success and then championship caliber team. And then from there, it's like now we can have different conversations. So it's like comparing KD to Melo, two of arguably the greatest scorers of all time, but KD's to a different caliber because he's actually had championship caliber teams. But with that, what if I don't have complete control over that? Or what if I do sign to a team and we get injured? Or I do sign to a team, like right now, the Nets have been banged up and injured. On paper, yeah, they should have won, but they never played together. So it's like we have to be more intelligent when it comes down to success or failures when it comes to that. So that's kind of how I feel.
Yeah, man. Like I think measuring team success over individual success is definitely a better definitely a better measurement of success as a player. Like we can't keep saying guys are failures because they didn't win championships. Some guys don't have that luxury of being on championship teams. Like dang, I get as fans we want them to go somewhere else. Like be like, dang man, go to the Lakers, ask for a trade, anything. We be all we all for that, and that's all well and good. But sometimes guys choose otherwise, and I feel like as long as they still show up and show out every night, and it will let us know that they are who they say they are or who they want to be. We can't take nothing away from like at the end of the day. If Dame never wins a championship, I feel like most people still call him a failure, obviously, but we will respect Dame for what he did. Like we gonna know who he was. Same thing for Melo. Melo retired without a ring. We still gonna look at Melo like he still was that deal when he played. Same way we look at McGrady or Vince Carter, like you said earlier, guys like that. Like we don't look at none of them as failures. Like we just respect them. Now, yeah, they won't be in certain conversations like best shooting guard all time, whatever. Like I get they might not be in those conversations, but still at the end of the day, like we respect them and we know what they did for the game and we know who they were. Like nobody out here saying they failed, nobody out here saying they weren't good. Like we know who they were and what they could do. So I feel like that matters at the end of the day also. And if anybody calling somebody like Tracy McGrady or Vince Carter or Clyde Drexler, anybody calling guys like that failures, Charles Barkley, if you calling them failures, I feel like you don't really know basketball. So that's just my opinion.
kind of bring it a little bit closer to home. I remember I had a conversation with one of my players, and they were playing against supposedly one of the better teams in the county in the state, whatever. I personally think they're that great, but anyway. So I told him my expectations for this game is not for you to ball out and go crazy, have 50 points, none of that. Like for right now, it's really a test of your heart right now because their team wasn't that great. They have a bunch of young players on the team, like really a bunch of eighth graders and freshmen playing up because of the situation they have going on at the school. You feel me? So I'm not looking for y'all to win because they're a better team than y'all. Are they a great team? Not really, but they're a better team. So for you individually, I'm not looking for you to go crazy. I'm looking for you to play hard. I just really want to see what your heart is this game. Like you kind of doubting yourself, which I kind of understand, but anybody can get beat on any given night. Like nobody's invincible. Like they can have an off night. Y'all can go crazy. Whatever. Y'all might be a better matchup because basketball's a game of matchups. And so my expectations for her, my success or failure rate was how hard she played this game. Not if they won, now that she dropped 20 points, now that she dominated the game, but how hard she played. Now, granted, within that, we've had a conversation about certain stuff I do expect from her from like an individual standpoint. I want her to be a little bit more aggressive and to look to score more because she's a good passer, but scoring helps out with that. And so I still looking for that. But overall, I just want to see where her heart was. Because if you go in the game getting defeated already off top, you might as well go ahead and bow out the game. But if she come out and play hard, she could put that battery in the team's back and be like, yo, we can play hard too. You know what I mean? Like that for me was success or failure for her. And so for our level or the level that most people can relate to, how can we gauge success and failure for players on the smaller scale? Because, they ain't talking about money on this level. They're not talking about team success or individual success as much. It's more of that's really more of a case by case thing for real, because you might be in a high school that's just sucks. Like they're terrible. So it's like for you, like if y'all got to win, we celebrate. That's a parade for y'all. But you individual as a player, you still feel like a bum because it's like, I want to win. You know what I mean? So like, how can we define success and failure more on this level of middle school, high school, maybe some college, maybe college. I don't know.
So I'll answer that with a story. So I remember when I first got to JUCO to Bevel State, and so I had one of my teammates, Malik Betts. I don't think he'll mind me saying his name. Had my teammate Malik on my when I first met him, told me he go to Pickens County. He went to Pickens County High School, whatever. So Pickens County was a little 1A or 2A school. And needless to say, was not very good at basketball, like at that time. But when he was there, he was the guy, right? So he telling me, I never really heard of Pickens County like that until I met him. But he was telling me, I had a bunch of games. I scored 30 points. I had a 40-point game. I had a 50-point game. He telling me all this. He's showing me newspaper clippings and pictures and stuff. He said, yeah, I had 35 on so-and-so. I had this. But it was losing. But, he said he ain't had nobody. Like, he was saying how he had 30 and 40 points, whatever. I'm like, dang, like I'm impressed. Because I ain't never scored. My high school high was 20 on the dot. Never had more than 20 in my high school career. But what I came to realize but I was impressed that he was telling me, but later on I started thinking about it. I'm like, all these 30, 40-point games and we in the same place. Like, why he not higher? Like, he was killing. I never said this to him though. I'm just thinking. So I came to realize as time went on, I came to realize like, oh, like his team wasn't good. He was the only good player. And he played in a bad, like in Alabama, like if you ain't in the right areas, you probably in a bad league, you play a bad team. And so, like, if you ain't in like Birmingham area, Mobile, Huntsville, bigger cities, like you probably ain't playing the best of the best all the time. So he was in that category. He's not really playing a whole lot of great teams. So it was only if probably made it to the playoffs and played in regionals or, Lord willing, the Final Four. Then would he be able to play in front of some like real college scouts and stuff to see how good he was? But he had the opportunity because his team wasn't good. They barely winning games and they don't make the playoffs or they get bounced out the first round, whatever, something like that. So we play. So, as season went on, I realized, okay, we do this on this level. Obviously, he's not going to be what he was in high school on this level. So, and I'm still playing well. So that's all it really is at that point. You have to realize what you have playing against. So in high school, middle school, and like you said, even some college, have a good team. That's that you don't control that if you don't have a good team. That's not in your control, especially in high school and middle school. Like you don't control who go to this school. You just don't have a good team. But if you are a good player, success is defined by what you can do for the team and how you can help them. Like how do you affect success for your team? So yeah, you might not be winning, but like you said, he had 30-point games, 40-point games. Like he doing all he can. That proved he was successful. That was his individual success. Like there was nothing he was gonna be able to do that team a winning team. But he did all he could, obviously. Like any game they won was clearly on his back. He was successful in a way, individually. And that got him a scholarship in the end. So successful. And so that's how you define success. Like clearly he didn't give up on his team, like you said with your player. Make sure she play hard, even though her team ain't good. Like play hard, do all you can, right? So that was clearly what he was doing. He could have went out there and just be like, "Oh man, I'm finna just get mine," but he clearly was trying to win games. That was his success. Got him a scholarship in the end. So like you keep preaching that to your player, like play hard. Like yeah, things might not go right. You probably gonna lose some games, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Do the best you can every night. And then at the end of the day, you can be proud of what you did. So that's where individual success comes from in those circumstances. Like, don't be looking at if you know your team not good or if your team isn't full of talent, don't take every loss to the heart. Just know like you got to come out there every night, do the best you can to put your team in a position to win. So once you do that, if you keep doing that, like my high school teams years weren't the best. My senior year was the best. Was the best team I had. And every night I came out, did the best I could to put us in a position to win. And, we made the playoffs and stuff like that, but we didn't go far. But, and, I felt like a failure at that time, but it got me scholarships. So in a way I was still successful because a lot of players didn't have scholarships. And so same thing when I got to Bevel. My freshman year at Bevel State, our team wasn't very good. Like, we had talent, but, one of the more talented teams in the league. So it was tough some nights. Some nights we got blowed out. Some nights, we came out there hot, and you see us play. Some nights we came out hot, and we got the better of a lot of teams. But at the end of the day, like we knew we didn't have the talent that other teams had, the talent on the sides, things like that. But every night I went out there, did the best I could, did the best I could to put my team in position to win. Did the same thing my sophomore year. We had a little bit better team. Did the same thing my sophomore year. And then at the end of the day, I had scholarships again to go to four-year schools. So this will be defined like number one, how you affect winning, and you put what you do to put your team in position to win. Like if you go out there like, oh, we should lose, and then you mope around, you act like it's over with. Notice of that, they don't want nothing to do with you. But like my Coach Butler say, he tells me this all the time. Hard in the right place, work hard, play the game the way it's supposed to be played, things work out for you. Where your success will come from. So take that as like my nugget for the day, like my 2 cents for the day. From my mouth, straight from Coach Butler's words, if you're hard in the right place, Come in, you work hard, play the game the way it's supposed to be played. Then things will go your way. Things will work out for you. So that's where your success will come from.
I had to say the exact same thing, like, because like you said before, you don't have as much control over your team and how good you are, how good your team is. So it's like you have to find a very fine balance between your individual success and your individual play. Because some players, it's a difference between a player have to go out there to score 30 to win, and another difference between me trying to go score 30 for me. That's two completely different things. To where if, like your boy, for instance, he had to score 30. Like, that's the best option we have to look to win. If I'm at a 7A school, we have more talented players. I might have to score 15. That doesn't make him a better player than me. It's just what my role is for, like we talked about before, play your role. You feel me? Like, play your role, maximize your role, because your role being maxed out gives this team the best opportunity to win. That's what success is. So, like you said before, do what you can, play your role to impact winning. That's number one. But then within number two, individually, what can you do within your role to maximize our success rate? So for you, for instance, if you locking up playing defense, you rebounding, getting the easy bunnies around the rim, hitting your good open shots, you're maximizing your success and the team's success. Your point guard is facilitating everybody, getting everybody involved, making sure he has hitting the right person at the right time, getting you, like, knowing you need your touches, getting the main player, getting the shooter involved. That's success. Now, the outcome of that could be me having 10 assists. So I need to have these 10 assists to make sure that we're in position to win. Now, the best player, he needs to get buckets. So by him getting buckets, it means 20 points. You need to have that output. You know what I mean? So by playing your role and maximizing your role, that increases your individual rate of success and our team rate of success. So it's a very fine balance between I'm chasing stats and I'm chasing what the team needs to succeed. I feel like Westbrook get caught up in that a lot too, where they say he's chasing stats and stuff. But like on the teams that he had, who else is going to score? He has to get everybody involved. Rebounding is just really an effort thing, and he had to score. Who else is really going to do that for the team? You know what I mean? So it's like, I might be the Westbrook of my team, I'm at school, but everybody looking at me for chasing stats. You know what I mean? And like now with the Lakers, if they're fully healthy, you wouldn't see him getting triple double. Like, he didn't have triple double like that when KD was there because he didn't need to. But now, and you look at the stats, they said he won, or the team won pretty much every game he had a triple double in. Like, he was a very high rate. And that's what he needed to do. That's what his impact was. Now, granted, did they go as far as they could have went? Team wasn't that good. Let's be honest. You know, yeah, he had Victor Oladipo and Paul George, but they weren't really playing up to par like they could have been or should have been. And that just is what it is. You feel me? So,
right.
I like what you said, man. Like, if you're able to impact the team success and team winning, and you're able to also maximize your role and do what you can do, that's what success is. And I feel like I think we need to preach that more rather than chasing the highlights and chasing stats. You know what I mean? Like, your stats it's a cause and effect. Like, your stats should be the effect of you maximizing your role. So if I'm a scorer, my job is to score. My role is to score. Me scoring impacts us winning. The outcome or the effect of how many points I score is not irrelevant, but it's more based off what the team needs. You know what I mean? So success for your team would be you scoring 10 points. That doesn't mean you're a bad player. That just means we need your 10 points right here. Me scoring 20 is not making me a better player than you. It's me maximizing my role to where we can win. And I feel like we preach that more to players. I feel like players wouldn't feel as down and as bad. And like you said, take every loss to heart because they're not having quote unquote success. I'm not winning. Winning is everything. Don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, everybody's not going to win. So that's now how can we view success if I'm not winning? The next level from there is, okay, how's the team doing? The team successful? Am I being successful in my role? You doing both of those? Hey, there's nothing else I can say to you.
Right.
So I feel like we push that more of that narrative and push that message more. people wouldn't feel as crazy about losing. I don't want you to be good about losing, but it's like, dang, man, I'm losing, but I can go to sleep at night knowing I did what I could do. I've maximized everything. Like I work out, eat. I did what I could tonight to try to get my team position to win. We fell short. Try again tomorrow. You know what I mean? So I feel like if we push more of that mission, and I might not be completely right. You might not be completely right, but I feel like that's the direction we should push more towards rather than where we are right now. So
yeah, and then I mean, I am my part on it with this. I remember my the last game my sophomore year, we in the semifinals of our conference tournament, and we ended up losing to Sneed State by like 8. I want to say something like that. Close game all the way through. It was a close game all the way through. It was a real good game, but our scores couldn't really get off. They couldn't get it going. I had a decent game. I had like my regular stats, but I remember like yesterday. We put one of our shooters in the game because we got a little bit behind. We had to get some points. I remember we ran a play for him perfectly. Ran a play to get one of our shooters open. He gets an open shot in the corner. It rims out. The other team gets the rebound. We foul them real quick, stop the clock, and they go to the free throw line. I got down there and lined up for the free throw. He was looking at me. Just finna, give him the ball. He was looking at me. I said, I needed that one, real. He needed that one. He said, yeah, that was a tough miss. So they shoot the free throw, they make it. We go down there, we try to score again, whatever, yada, yada. So we end up losing the game. Go in the locker room. Some guys crying and things like that, everything. Normal, like, end of the season thing. But I found myself surprisingly not crying. Surprisingly to me, I was not crying because I got in there and I said, I knew, but the thing that kept me up was I knew why we had lost. Like, we just, we couldn't get, certain guys couldn't get going. And, we did the best we could, but, it wasn't there for us. And then the team we lost to, just the third time we had to play them and we won the first 2. It's very hard to beat a team 3 times. So in the end, I was like, it's tough. And I remember going up to our no one score trail. Guy led the conference in scoring. He was the player of the year. I'm going up to him like, hey man, you good, man. You good. You did what we could do. He said, and I said, you did what we asked him. He said, man, y'all don't ask me to score 11 points because he averaged 26. He said, man, y'all don't ask me to score 11 points. I said, Trail, we ask you to score the ball. Like, we ask you to shoot. You know what I'm saying? And you score 20 plus a night. And I'll never be mad at you for not having 20 or 25 or whatever, because I know at the end of the day, I can't do that. I could never do that for our team. Like, as much as I wish I could, I'm not the guy to get a ball to 25. Like, just being real. I'll never be mad at you. You didn't go get us 25. And I know you wish you could have did more, and I wish you could have did more too. Like, I know you ain't satisfied with the way you played, but like, I'm not, like, I could be satisfied knowing, we went down fighting and we did all we could do. We played our game. We did everything we wanted to do. Shots just didn't go in. So, hey, gotta be not satisfied, but I'm content knowing, we did all we could do. And the game still hurts him. Talking to him about it still hurt him. You can see it get to him a little bit still. But at the end of the day, like, because in his mind, we weren't successful because of him. He didn't have his individual or his team success because he used to scoring 20 plus. And then, we win the game. But doggone it, sometimes he ain't gonna get 20. Like, I felt like he did everything he normally does. Just didn't go in tonight. And it was a crucial game, but that's part of life. That's part of the game. So I'm never gonna be mad at him for that. And I'll never criticize him or blame him for anything like that, because I know at the end of the day, I could not have done it myself. If I could, I would have. So, yeah, we were not successful, but never would I count that team as a failure or that season. Never would I say we were failures. Never would I say we were not successful through that whole season. Like we had a good year. We put our team on the map. Like we were a contender for the first time in that program. And since that program has restarted, we were contenders for the first time ever. So we did something. You know, it was a special thing. So I count us as successful any day of the week. Yeah, we did not make our end goal of winning the championship, but the way we lost, the way we played, I can be all right with that. And so I think that's how guys got to look at it now. That took a lot of growing. You know, I feel like that was a very mature thing for me to realize. Like, yeah, like, you know, it didn't go our way tonight. And yeah, you know, this is it. You know, I'm sad. This is my last game here. It's the end of my JUCO experience and things like that. And I love my junior college. I love all the people I met, things like that. But me, like after the growth I had, and things like that in the game and in life, I realized like, hey, like sometimes it's not gonna go our way like that. You know, we did everything we could. Now it'd be different if we went out there and we just messed around and didn't play well and didn't do everything. You know, we didn't follow the game plan, or we didn't play defense, or we didn't play hard. Yeah, I'm gonna be pissed. Like I'm gonna be highly upset then. Yeah. But going out there, we felt like we played hard, felt like we followed our game plan. Felt like down the stretch they made more plays than us. I can be okay with that. I can be satisfied with that. I count us as still being successful because of everything we accomplished in the end. So that's just me though. And that's my last take on like what success is. Like, yeah, I hope people take that story and realize like every loss is not a failure. Yeah, we failed in our end goal, but every loss does not mean we were failures. You know what I'm saying? We may have it's like losing the battle but not losing the war. We may have failed, but we aren't failures. Because at the end of the day, wins and losses, that's the main thing. We want to win every game. And we want to win the championship and get the rings and the accolades and things like that. But at the end of the day, if you don't, that does not make you a failure. Whether or not you maximize that potential and your talent and did the best you could every night or in that game, in that season. So that's how I look at it. And that's my last few words on it. Like I approach every game that way. As long as I go out here and I play to the best of my ability, I know I did all I could do. Whether the win or the loss, whether we win in the end or we lose in the end, I can be satisfied knowing I gave everything I had.
Like, kind of like, this is my last point. I feel like success is more of what the input is than the output. You know what I mean? Because sometimes you can't control the output. So like, exactly. For me, for business, right? I can't always control, like, okay, for the podcast right now, right? It's our job to be the best we can do, to control what we can't control with this. We can't control how many people listen to it. We can market our butts off and tell as many people listen to it as we can. We can't control the money that comes in. We can do the best we can to get into the right hands, right ears. We can't control that, right? Only thing we can control is two things: us showing up to the record and how good the recording is. So our input is our success. The output of the end result after that is something that's out of our hands, right? So control what you can control within the game. So like you said, when you're looking for your boy to score 20 points, now if you ain't even get up 10 attempts, that's where I have a problem. You're not even getting the attempts up. You're not even putting the input in to get that output. Like, right. Bro, you took 2 shots. Like, now I'm pissed off with you because you didn't even get up the attempts. You're not even giving us the opportunity to win because you didn't even attempt to score. Now, if you went 0 for 20, that's a whole nother conversation. Yo, you put up the attempts, it just didn't fall. Like, hey, it is what it is. I feel you. It's tough, but you did what you could do. So it's like, if we focus more of the input, are you training? Then of course you're gonna suck if you're not training. You're not eating right. You're not even putting the attempt. You're not putting the input in of success. Like, you need even putting the right calculation in to get the output of success should be. Like, you're trying to get 4, but you're not even putting the 2 or the 2 in. It's only 2 things you can put in, and it's 2 plus 2. 1 plus 3. You're not putting either one of them in. Somehow you putting in 5, and it's like, bro, what are you doing? Like, that's not adding up. Like, So of course you're not following the formula. You're not putting the input in the calculator to equal success. So if you're not even putting the right inputs for this equation to what success is, there's no reason why you should look for success at all. You're actually looking for failure, but not putting the inputs in of success. So that's my last bit, man. Like I think it's more about the inputs of what you put into the equation or put into the game that can lead for that output of success. So that's my last bit.
It's all good, man. That does it for another episode of the BeBall Jones podcast. This is a good one. Like I feel like we really gave some insight on success and what it really means to be successful in the game. Like at least I hope young basketball players and young athletes in general like take this information and really like process and think about some of the things we said. Like, we here to help. Like, yeah, we might not be, LeBron James on here giving you game, but we are people who've been in a lot of these positions and seeing a lot of these things. And we know we've been wanting success in not just basketball, but in life. Like we old enough to know what to do with our lives and what we found is successful to us. And so what's successful to us might not be success to another person, but this is the life that we live and this is what we want out of it. So we gonna put our best foot forward towards that life. And so I hope we help somebody today. So but that does it for another episode. Be sure to like and subscribe and friends and let them know, like, if you got friends that like are struggling with losing or like you feel like they losing really hard or too hard, like share this with them. Let them hear this and like hopefully they take what we trying to give them. They're able to process. So, but nevertheless, please be sure to show all social medias at BeBall Jones. That's BeBall Jones on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And then follow me on Twitter at NellyH34 and Nelson Haskins on Facebook. And we try to keep the conversations going over there. And be sure to leave comments, let us know what y'all think about what we said. And if y'all agree with us or if y'all disagree with us, what y'all think. What do y'all define as success? And things like that. Be sure to let us know. Keep the conversation going. We good about refining these guys. But without further ado, man, thank y'all for listening. Be sure to check us out next time. And we out.